Hey, what's going on everybody? My name is Ryan. I'm a CPA and today I'm going to be talking about the potential fourth stimulus payment. Is it possible? Is it likely? What do you think? I'll tell you what I think. But first, it would be awesome if you could subscribe to my channel if you're new here and also smash the like button if you are going to find this video helpful, which you'll see in a minute. And also leave me some comments and questions down below on what you think about this stimulus payment. Do you think it's going to be possible? There's been rumblings about it from people in Congress and all that stuff. So yeah, let me know in the comments below. So obviously when I'm talking about stimulus payments, I'm talking about, the direct payments to the generalized population, Is it likely? There's been talks of a fourth one coming. There's been talks of a monthly stimulus payments, $2,000 a month, $1,000 a month. How likely is it? Let's talk about the cost of the stimulus payments, okay? So I'm going to talk about the monthly proposed stimulus payments and, just talking about the cost, you might see whether it is likely or unlikely. So the first stimulus payment that was ever introduced back in 2020 from the CARES Act, it paid out about 150 million Americans, okay? And the cost of that stimulus payment was about $250 billion, okay? That's a lot of money, $250 billion. And now, if you extrapolate that out, if you had the same number of Americans or a similar number of Americans, and then you paid out $2,000 a month for, let's say, 12 months, maybe 18 months, whatever it is however long people think the pandemic's gonna last, let's just say 12 months. If you extrapolate that out, it could range between $2 trillion and $10 trillion to make monthly payments to these Americans. And there's been a couple proposals done. That's why I gave you a range, and it all depends on how restrictive they make the income levels, how much they pay children or dependents. That all depends on, between the $2 and $10 trillion. Now, the CARES Act, which was considered a very huge stimulus package, it wasn't just direct payments, it was unemployment, it was all, it was the PPP, the EIDL, all this other stuff, so many other stuff. And that CARES Act was just it was just around $3 trillion, okay? So here with the monthly payments alone will be as much, if not much more than the entire CARES Act. Just seems pretty insane to me. Now, there's also been talks about proposed tax increases, which I'll probably do another video on the details of that. But there is a proposed, Biden plan. There's a Ways and Committees plan of increasing taxes. Primarily, it seems like for the more wealthy people. They're making things less favorable for estate taxes, and high earners basically get an additional 3% tax on their income, and that's for people making $5 million a year or more. But generally, it's a tax for more wealthy people. It's a greater tax for corporations, and it's closing down some advantages for corporations doing business outside the U.S. So, if we were going to increase taxes in that way, will it cover the stimulus payments? The potential monthly stimulus payments. Well, the increased taxes are thought to increase revenue from the IRS by about $2 trillion, okay? However, that's over 10 years. $2 trillion over 10 years. That is not that much money compared to the proposed stimulus payments. And not only that, the increased taxes are basically already spent in things like infrastructure and other types of programs, over the next 10 years as well. So do I think that there's going to be a fourth stimulus payment? I think it's very unlikely that there's going to be a monthly stimulus payment. And I also still think it's going to be unlikely that we're going to get a fourth stimulus payment, just a one-time payments. Even though, the chances are higher, much higher, I think, than the monthly, I still don't think it's going to be very likely that we're going to get a fourth one. Now, there might be a more targeted one, for certain people in certain industries or people making very low income. But to the generalized American population, I really don't think there's going to be another fourth stimulus payments. And, hate to break the news to you, but that's just my opinion, though. It's my opinion. Could be wrong. Maybe I am. But I just don't think it's going to happen. We see how kind of ineffective the stimulus payments are. You know, it's just $1,000 or $2,000 or $1,400, whatever it is. Like a one-time payment, that doesn't last very long. That might get you through a month if you're struggling. Okay, maybe a month, and then what? Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. What I'm going to talk about next is maybe the potential of another PPP loan, which there's also been kind of talks about and rumblings about. And, you know, if you're not familiar, the PPP, they've done twice. There's the first draw and the second draw. The first draw actually had 2 different instances where they funded it twice. So some people might look at it as having 3 PPPs already. But yeah, I don't think there's gonna be another PPP either. I mean, the only reason I think it would make sense to issue another program like the PPP is if there was like a nationwide shutdown or lockdown where kind of forced businesses to close their doors again, you know, because you kind of put businesses in a chokehold where you force them to close and then they can't make money, they can't pay their employees, all that stuff. So yeah, funding them some PPP money if they have to close their doors, that seems like a more intelligent thing to do than just to fund them PPP money when they don't really need it. I think, you know, as long as businesses are able to stay open and, you know, people are actually patronizing their businesses now, you know, regardless of Delta or not, people are patronizing businesses. They just need to be able to stay open and they can make money. Now, there is a labor problem, you know, especially in the restaurant hospitality industry. People are not wanting to work. And yeah, I mean, partially it's the low wages, right? Restaurants pay low wages and then the restaurant workers make a tip to earn their living wage that way primarily. And people are saying, oh, it's the low wages. They can't compete with unemployment, you know, the unemployment insurance benefits. Well, unemployment, the benefits, the big benefits ended a while ago. You know, lately it's been the $300 a week, but that just ended as well. And $300 a week is not that much money. What I've been hearing though from my friends and people who do work in the industry is during the pandemic, people are just more angry. They're more unruly. They're more likely to shout at you for, you know, not wearing a mask, for wearing a mask. You know, just things are more tense and people just don't want to deal with that shit anymore. I think that's the problem. You know, it's a low pay. They're not being paid enough to deal with this kind of shit for, you know, customer facing jobs, for, you know, customer service jobs in the restaurant industry where things are already a little tense. You know, margins are tight. People are finally getting to go out for the first time in a while. And, you know, let's say you're forced to wear a mask and they get pissed off and they yell at the waiter or the waitress, then, you know, people don't want to deal with that shit anymore. Or fast food workers get a lot of crap from customers as well. So yeah, I think there's a labor shortage, but I don't think it's due to people being lazy or due to like primarily the pandemic shutting down, preventing people from working. It's just, you know, the mindset has changed on what people are willing to put up with. So there's no monthly stimulus payments, there's no PPP. What should you do to protect yourself and prepare yourself if there's another shutdown or if you're still struggling? Like, you know, what if you are not able to get a job in your industry or the job that you used to work at because they're still struggling as a business? Like, what should you do? Well, this season of life, if you're struggling, is not time to be trying to stick to what you know how to do and to really like be stubborn about what you need to do or what you want to do, okay? If you used to work in an industry that's still really struggling and you're trying to get a job in the industry, you might not have good luck, okay? This season of life might be a time for you to pick up a different kind of job, maybe 2 jobs, maybe 3 jobs, you know, just for a short period of time to build up your cushion, to build up your safety nets, get yourself out of the hole. And then when you have more of a buffer, then you start looking back into jobs that you want to work in, or, you know, when things stabilize in the world, in the economy, then you can start looking for jobs where you used to work. But now's not the time to be stubborn. It's not a time to dig your heels in or to let your ego take over. You need to do what you can to put food on your table, to pay your utilities, to pay your rent, and you need to not rely on the government to pay you a monthly payment or to pay you a one-time payment in order for you to do that. You need to take charge of your own life. And I'm only talking about people who can and are able to work. Obviously, if you're not able to work, if you're disabled or whatever, that's a whole nother story. But if you're able to work, and you know, there's plenty of jobs out there. Like I was just saying, there's a labor shortage in restaurants and fast food and fast casual places. There's plenty of jobs out there right now. And if you're struggling to make ends meet, you need to get 1, 2, or 3 of those jobs. Get yourself a buffer, and then you can relax a little bit. All right, that's all I got for today. Thanks for listening. Again, if you're new here, please do subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And also smash the like button if you found this video helpful. And leave me a comment below on what you think about the 4th stimulus payments. And I hope you all stay safe. Talk to you next time, and I'll see you later.
For a switch up, I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a sticker. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flicker.